In this video, we're going to continue to talk about 2D drawing in 3ds Max. So in the previous video, we saw how we can import for architecture and for industrial design. So how we can import 2D drawings from CAD or from other application like Rhino or, well, AutoCAD, any application that can create 2D drawings. And then we use those 2D drawings and extrude those lines, also use them to create, again, like chairs or something like industrial design furniture. So in this video, we will continue, but instead of bringing the drawings or other files from other application, we're gonna use an image. We're gonna see how we can trace an image, how we can basically recreate an image made of pixels and transform that into a 2D drawing like the one that we are seeing right now. So without using AutoCAD or another CAD application, we're gonna work directly here in 3ds Max. So let me just import here. So, well, you can import from also other software. We saw like Autodesk Revit. So you can import in 2D if you want. So you can import DWG or DXF format, or you can import FBX if you want the 3D. Now you can use many different software if you want to generate your 2D drawings with vector graphics. Also Krita is an open source. And we talked about the difference between NURBS and polygons, but essentially when you work with curves and then you proceed in the creation of solids, like surfaces and then solids, you're doing something similar to what you do in NURBS modeling. So modeling with curves, it's really similar to modeling with NURBS. So in this case, again, I want to import not a CAD file, not vector graphics, but I want to import raster graphics, or essentially an image made with pixels. And I can do that with architecture again. I can do it with industrial design. I can import an industrial design sketch or technical drawings like front view, side view. And I can import also graphic design, infographics. So, well, any image can be used as a reference. Now, if you have top, front, and side, that's going to be the best option. So you will find like blueprints and technical drawings that are going to help you to develop your object inside 3ds Max. So we're going to make the first example here with an architecture, but also later on we're going to use other images as references. So when you have an image like this, which is an architectural plan view, you can also see the measure. Now this is really easy to scale it because we already know the measure. So by knowing how big is a room or a wall or something like that, it's better to recreate something in 3D. Now in this other case right here, and we don't have any measure at all, and also it's not precise, it's not a really good image. So in that case, we need to approximate more. Now I'm gonna use this just to show you what's the worst scenario could be. Now when you click and drag an image on a viewport, it's gonna ask you if you wanna use it as a viewport background or as an environment map. So this is the first way you can use an image. Yeah, you can use an image as a background. We don't need an environment map right now. We're gonna see this later on where we'll talk about the rendering. We're gonna see how we can use environment maps to create like a background for our scene. Now in this case, you can see there, when you do this operation, it's gonna place the image as a background for your viewport. So this is something that you can go and customize in the viewport customization. So you can manage how your background is gonna look like. You can use it an image, you can use a simple color. If you're using an image, there you can see the directory of the image, so where the software is getting the image from, and you can adjust here the aspect ratio to match the viewport, match the bitmap. And so you have many settings here. Now, of course, if it's gonna match the bitmap, it's gonna be better because it's going to be like with the correct proportions. And well, I find this not really handy because I need to lock the view here. So if I want to start to draw my lines on top of this drawing here, it's gonna be really difficult because if as soon as I zoom in or zoom out with my viewport, I'm gonna lose that like synchronization. I'm gonna lose the match. So I don't really like this way to use reference images. So you either lock the view somehow, you can lock the top view, or another option I'm gonna show you, which I prefer, is to use a plane, is to use an object and place the image on top of that object. Now that's basically creating a material. So it's kind of introducing also the theme of the material. So I'm gonna create a plane, and this is gonna have a standard color. You can see there it's a green color, and I want to adjust it to match the proportions of the image. So I need to know the dimensions in pixels. So I can read the dimensions. If I just roll over an image, I can see there the height and the width in pixels, and I'm gonna just copy and paste those values in the length and the width of the plane. So this is not gonna help me to place the correct scaling for the image, but it's gonna help me to make it the same proportions, the same. It's not gonna be stretched. It's not gonna be deformed. So that's important. Otherwise, it's going to cause issues later with all the different measures. So make sure that you have the correct proportions. That's the most important thing. You can always take care about the scaling later. So I'm going to show you also to put everything in scale, but first of all, you need to do this height and width match with the plane and the image. And now I can click and drag, and I will click and drag directly onto that object. So you can see that I place my image just right on top of that plane. And this, again, it's like creating a material. So this is the fastest way we can create materials in 3ds Max. But we're gonna talk about materials later. Now make sure also that you are in the correct view, because some views don't display images. So you need to be in the default shading or in facets, but you cannot be like in wireframe or clay or other types of views. So make sure that you have the correct setup there, and also that you have materials and realistic materials with maps enabled. Otherwise, you won't see the materials, neither the materials or the maps. So make sure that option it's activated. So when you have all of that activated, you can visualize the image, then you can start to work with 2D drawing. Now this is not going to be like working in AutoCAD or in a 2D vector graphics application. It's going to be a little bit more complex, but we can do it. But I suggest, if you're interested in 2D drawing, to go into AutoCAD or Revit or other 2D applications, and you will find the video courses in the channel. Now I'm just adjusting the resolution of the image to have a better quality here. Again, managing the viewport configuration, I can do that. So I'm gonna adjust the resolution, and then I can proceed in tracing my image more accurately, with more accuracy. So again, if you have questions, you can also write it in the comments, also suggestions for other users. So again, I'm trying to increase the quality.